So a few months ago, I had asked one of my top freelancer who used to work for me on a part-time basis to actually stop working with me, right? And what do I mean by that is basically I said, you know what, hey, I don't think we will be working anymore in 2 weeks from now. Now that's crazy, right? There was nothing wrong with this freelancer. Like she was a top performer, right? She would work on stuff on time. Any task I give it to her, she would do it very quickly, and she was working part time Monday through Saturday, about 3 hours a day, three and a half hours a day as contracted, no issues with, punctuality, showing up, things like that. Then the question is, why did I stop working with her? And why did I tell her, hey, we will not be able to work longer? Well, here's the caveat. Here's what happened. The 3 hours, that 3 to 4 hours, or three and a half hours that she would work with me for 6 days a week, right, Monday through Saturday, because that was her hours. She was doing other coursework, university things. One thing I realized is when she started, she would need guidance, right? Okay, she would ask me, okay, what do I do today? What do I do tomorrow? Give me some work, give me some work. And I would give her, and we've been working for a few months. And, my hope was over time that, she will be able to grasp the concept, things I like, things I don't like, and be able to start to think more strategically. And as a result, I would be less hands-on, right? Because initially when we onboard someone, and I'm sure if you have managed someone, initially when you onboard someone, you have to train them, give them process documents, things like that. And this was a designer, right? She was a designer, and without taking any names, but the problem was challenges, like two challenges. Number one was, she would every day she would come in and she would be like, hey, Sujit, what am I going to work on today? So that's great. So now I have to give it to her, and then she would ask for feedback and things like this. So we would constantly. So one thing I found myself doing was, again and again, week after week, month after month, was that during those hours while she was working with me, I wasn't getting anything done, right? Because I was basically, it's like that was my second job. Now, keep in mind, if I'm spending like, say, 3 hours a day, 6 days a week, that's 18 hours. If I'm not working, that means I have to make up those 18 hours some other time while she was doing the work and she was moving me forward. But I wasn't getting anything done. My goal was initially is that, she will learn things from me. She will learn what I'm thinking, try to, and over time, she would be growing up into a role and try to take a more leadership role, right? So that I don't have to drive things every day. Like, it's like when I was growing up, we used to have a lot of, what will I call it? Not, in our country, we used to have a lot of this temporary contract workers who'd come in and they would clean the house on, not, we were not her full-time employers, but she would have a bunch of like houses that she would clean. She would come in and she would work on our house, and then once she's done, she would move on to the next house, right? Those contract workers. But the thing is, if every time I have to keep telling you what your job is and if you don't figure it out, then chances are, I'm just tired of running around and like telling you what to do and what not to do. So where am I going with this, guys? And how does it help you? So how does it help you is that, guys, listen, it's okay for you when you're starting up with a new role. It's okay for you to ask for guidance, ask for understand, but always ask. Maybe I did a horrible job, terrible job in communicating the vision and what I'm looking for. That's fine. Like, not everyone's equal, but again, it's your responsibility to make sure that, you are not taking up my time to 18 hours a week. If you're taking up my time 18 hours a week, and if I'm not around, then you're not getting anything done, then, either way, I'm losing money. Right. And oftentimes I rather lose the money that 18 hours you're working for me, because that's a much smaller loss than, me spending 18 hours, which basically means I definitely make a lot less, because my per hour worth is a lot higher than what I was paying to this designer. So the math didn't work out for me in my head. And I just had to, pull the plug. And I didn't pull the plug in the sense like, hey, you're fired, right? Nor did I say, hey, you did a crappy job. I did not say that. I was just saying, hey, politely, we need to wrap up this project, because I don't foresee, us having enough work for you in the future. And just very politely, I just basically ended the, relationship, the working relationship, just because it wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't really providing to be very fruitful. So there you go, guys. If you're watching this, doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a full-time employee, a part-time employee, a contract worker, whatever it is, whatever your status is, always remember the person who has hired you, right? Who is giving you a project definitely has other things to do. And if you are consuming that person's time all the time, every day, and you're not growing in your role, there's something wrong. Either so ask for more responsibility, do things, and you know what, figure things out. Like, find your, what is it called, boundaries, things you can get away with, things you cannot get away with, mistakes you can make, mistakes you cannot make, and then decide from there what you should be able to do and what you will not be able to do. But if you're always waiting for my boss to tell me, oh, I didn't do this because the boss didn't tell me, oh, I did this because he told me so, no, otherwise I wouldn't, because we all have this, we all can think. So with that, all I'm gonna end before all I'm gonna end with is like, use your brain, apply your judgment, use common sense, and start to make decisions. Make it easy for your boss, to manager, whatever client, to work with you, so that they enjoy working. They're not getting a second full-time job or a part-time job. Thank you. Bye-bye.